Hello everyone, my name is Henry Fernandes, and today I'm going to discuss law enforcement backdoors in encrypted smartphones. Modern smartphones use strong encryption to protect user data. Encryption prevents unauthorized access, whether from hackers, criminals, or even a company that made the device. At the same time, this encryption can prevent law enforcement from accessing information during criminal investigations, even when they have a legal warrant. This has created an ongoing debate about whether technology companies should build special access mechanisms, often called backdoors, for police purposes. This issue affects nearly everyone because smartphones store financial data, personal conversations, health information, passwords, and location history. So any change to encryption policy impacts both individual privacy and national security. So, what is a backdoor? A cryptographic backdoor, is an intentionally built method that bypasses normal security protections. In this case, it would allow law enforcement to unlock encrypted smartphones without knowing the user's passcode. Supporters often call this exceptional access, meaning only authorized government entities could use it. However, cybersecurity experts argue that there is no widely accepted method for creating a backdoor that cannot eventually be exploited or misused. Unlike hacking, which is an external attack, this would be a built-in access point deliberately engineered into the system. The core technical question is whether encryption can remain secure if a universal unlocking mechanism exists. So why law enforcement even supports backdoors? Law enforcement agencies argue that encryption has created what is known as the going dark problem. This refers to situations where investigators illegally obtain a warrant for a device but cannot access the data because of strong encryption. Modern smartphones function as mobile computers. They store emails, GPS location data, call records, photos, financial apps, and cloud based content. In cases involving terrorism, organized crime, or exploitation, this information may be critical evidence to the case. From this perspective, the intended consequence of a backdoor would be restoring investigative capabilities and improving public safety. Supporters argue that a lawful warrant should guarantee access to digital evidence, just as it would for physical evidence. So, security and privacy concerns. Opponents argue that weakening encryption affects all users, not just criminals. According to security experts from MIT, there is no proven way to create a secure backdoor that cannot be discovered or exploited by unauthorized parties. If a universal access mechanism exists, it becomes a high value target. Hackers, cybercriminals, or even foreign governments could attempt to exploit it. The complexity of modern digital infrastructure increases the likelihood of unintended vulnerabilities. So while the intended consequence may be improved law enforcement access, the unintended consequence could include increased data breaches, identity theft, corporate espionage, and reduced global trust in digital systems. The risk is systemic, not isolated. Broader societal impact and future implications. This debate is often framed as privacy versus security. However, some experts argue it is more accurately described as security versus security. On one side is short term investigative security, solving immediate criminal cases. On the other side is long term cybersecurity, protecting the digital systems that society depends on for banking, healthcare, communication, and infrastructure. Congress has debated encryption access since the 1990s during the crypto wars, and policymakers continue to evaluate their legislation should mandate exceptional access. The long term decision could influence how devices are designed, how global governments regulate technology, and how much trust citizens place in digital products. In this scenario specifically, police ask Apple to develop a universal backdoor that would allow access to any iOS device. The head of development presents the proposal to the CEO, who obviously has the final authority over whether the backdoor is built. This is not a hypothetical technical discussion. It is a leadership decision. The CEO must weigh business interests, legal pressures, public trust, and security implications before deciding whether to direct the development of this system. The ethical dilemma involving this. The ethical dilemma is whether it is ethical for the CEO to direct the development of the backdoor. If the CEO approves it, law enforcement investigations may become more effective, potentially improving public safety and supporting criminal justice efforts. However, this decision could weaken encryption standards and expose millions of users to increased cybersecurity risks. If the CEO rejects it, user privacy and device security remain strong, but law enforcement may face limitations in accessing digital evidence during serious criminal investigations. Both options carry significant consequences for society, technology, and public safety. That tension between competing forms of security is what makes this a genuine ethical dilemma. And thank you.